So we are going to start at 10 officially, but of course I just started the webinar to be able to join for everybody as soon as possible. I see the number of participants are growing and growing.
Okay, that's good. Here I am. Dario?
Siete in ufficio, Giovanni? Giovanni, siete in ufficio?
Yes, we are at office tomorrow, this morning. Yeah, you too.
I am alone. I am alone.
Yes, I am with Dario, but we stay in two different rooms.
That's perfect. Dario is dangerous. Okay.
We are only you and me and Laszlo at the moment.
Well, there are a lot of more participants already joined, but only the panel is going to have a video.
Good morning to everybody.
Oh, hi, Luz.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Luz.
Hi. Ciao Giovanni.
Ciao,
Francesco.
piacere di rivederti.
Piacere mio. Purtroppo in queste circostanze. Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
What about you guys? All right?
Yeah. Working almost the 17 are working at home. At the moment, I'm the only one here working at the office. Because I have a problem at home, because my wife is a teacher, is teaching through internet. My last daughter is attending the class on internet. The third is attending the university class on internet. There is no room for me.
Oh, I lost the view.
I can hear you all very well. Yeah.
Okay.
Me too. I'm alone here in the office, so but I think it's not so bad sometimes.
No.
Unfortunately for these bad reasons, but yeah. Let's hope
guys,
for the best. Let's hope for the best.
Okay, guys, it's 10 o'clock, and we have many participants already joined this web conference, and I just would like to ask you just for a quick introduction. So, which city were you from Italy? And then we can go into the basic topic of ours about the coronavirus and the economic impact of this coronavirus. I don't know how we like to start. Let's start with Francesco maybe, because he's my left top.
Okay, good morning to everybody. I'm really thankful to Laszlo for organizing this meeting, because it's a matter to together in front of this strange situation. The best thing is to stay all together and help each other. So also exchanging experience, also exchanging information about what's going on in our countries. It's a way to stay together, to share experience and help each other. At the moment in Italy, we probably you read in the newspaper, we overcome China in terms of death, and this is very strange and also very, very dramatic. In my area, I am in the center of Italy, in one of the provinces of Italy, more affected by coronavirus, and we have 3 hospitals here in my area. One of them has been fully dedicated only for COVID sick people, and this is very hard at the moment. Everything is closed apart from the food shop and the pharmacy and just these things that are necessary. But everybody is asked to stay at home, not to move apart from emergency. So it's very hard. It's very hard. A lot of people are very worried, and also because in our area we have a lot of old people, and you know the old people are the first to be affected by the virus. Okay.
No, non so.
I don't know if it is enough.
Però dice che sei collegato. Sorry?
I don't know, Laszlo, if you want me to say
Yeah,
more
no,
or listen to the other.
It's absolutely thank you, Francesco. And I'd like to ask the others, if someone is not speaking, then they can switch off their microphone on the left bottom. So there is no noise in that case in the webinar. So if someone is not speaking, then they can mute their microphone. Let's go with Lutz. You are on my right, so maybe you can continue.
Hello to everybody. Yes, I thank you, Laszlo, for this initiative. I agree fully with Francesco. The situation here is, let me say, dramatic. The whole country is red area, actually. Our country, as our area, South Tyrol too. Our area here is mainly, the economic is mainly based on tourism, and the damage is immense. So we have all hotels, all restaurants, all bars, everything is closed. The deaths here the number is not so high as, for example, in Lombardia or Milan, Bergamo, but the situation is really, really bad.
Thank you,
so
Lutz.
I will pass over.
Yeah, thank you. And let's see what happens in Milan. Maybe Giovanni or Dario, one of you could tell us what is the situation.
Yeah, Laszlo, we are absolutely in the spot of the hurricane, in the center of the storm. Milan and all the region that is Lombardia is the most affected for this virus, and yeah, nobody is in the street, and all the shops are closed, of course. Only the supermarket are open, and all our staff is working from home, smart working, but Dario and I sometimes we must to come to the office because it's not possible to manage 100% of the job from home. And yes, the situation here is very, very, very tough. And, I don't know if Dario would want to add something more.
So I completely agree. I completely agree with you. Of course, I just want to say that we are quite lucky because we changed our IT structure, software and hardware, a couple of months before that the storm started. So we are in a good position in terms of capability to work from home because we have everything in cloud. So it is the operativity is basically okay. Of course, the problem is with general life and with the economic environment, generally speaking, because a huge crisis probably will follow soon, and so this is of course this will affect every one of us.
Very good, thank you. And maybe we can ask Enrico also from Milan, just to cover the city totally, because yeah, you were right, Giovanni, it is absolutely the middle of the storm, this area. So Enrico, can you just add something, or do you agree with Giovanni and Dario?
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with them, even if I have not seen the latest development of the situation in Milano, because I left Milano some weeks ago, and now I am in the mountains. So this is why I turned off my video, because if not, my internet connection would not be stable. That's the only reason. What I can see here, I am in a really touristic area. From the other side of Italy, in respect to Lutz, because I'm in Valle d'Aosta, and here this small village is only based on tourism. Everything has been shut down here, so even the supermarket and the grocery store has been closed. So you can reach everything that is linked to food, vegetables, fruit, etc. only once per week, because there is one guy from the village here that goes to a bigger grocery store that is 10 kilometers away from here. But no one is not even walking, no one is on the street here, because most of the houses are closed, and the only one who are resident here simply don't go outside. Even here, in which in this region there are only 200, probably 210 cases in all the region, and no one in this small village. So the situation is really, really tough, because you can perceive, you can realize how the impact is on the people from one day to the other. So it is really a tough situation.
Thank you. And what about in the beautiful Tuscany area, Pier Paolo?
Thank you for organizing this meeting. I feel confident in MGI group, and especially for Italian group and you and the others. So thank you a lot. In Tuscany, here the situation is no so bad as in Lombardia, because also in Lucca there is some cases, but is really under control the situation. And I have 2 clients that is now in hospital for coronavirus, but really I see the TV and so on, and so it's really very good situation because it's not so high number. For my firm, we are organized to smart working. We have 2 years ago we began in this type of work, and now we are really efficient. And now I think that in the future we are going to improve this type of work, because we have a lot of time that we spend for meeting, for to touch between our productive time is about 30% in our office, and now I see that is lowest this percentage. So I think that in future we organize better our job. But now we are working to help our client to understand everything's news, because there is a lot of new law, especially in finance. Now we are working with the bank to help our clients to have money for proceed in this situation, and then to invest. And so we try to survive.
Ciao Pierpaolo.
Okay, yes, and let's go and start how it affects on the business. So thank you for all of your introduction. I think because we are working with many enterprises, we are one of the first who realized what is the real business impact of this coronavirus. And at the very beginning, I thought it's going to be a worse disaster than the 2008 economical crisis was, and I think unfortunately I was right. So, and especially Italy, which is the 9th biggest economy in the world, together if you just say how it started from China. It is a total collapse of the economy. But what happens on the micro side of all of these? I mean, what happens with the enterprises, with your clients? What you can see?
Yeah,
Francesco, let's see, maybe.
If we have to follow the same order, just to give an impression, because if you consider that the main strength of Italy are tourism and export, because these are the column of the economy of Italy, and both of them have been attacked by the coronavirus. No tourism and no moving people, no moving, and difficulties in moving goods. I have some client in the tourism sector. Of course, they close the hotels. Everything is closed. I have client working with a foreign market, and just to give you an example, after 2 years of investment entering into China market, just the first order was at the beginning of February. Everything is stopped, so a lot of goods are here ready to be shipped, but there is no possibility to ship them, so there is no money coming in. And others that are working for the retail sectors, just for example, we have a lot of furniture product producers in our area. Of course, then they are just stopping, because there is no their customers are not buying anything, because they have no clients, because the shops are closed. So at the moment, the ones that are working are just working for the stock, preparing and waiting for restart and having goods ready for shipment. But at the end of the day, what we are doing for all of them is preparing the letter to their suppliers in order to say, look, if at the end of the month we will be able to get the money from our customers, we will be able to pay you. But if we don't, we won't get the money, we won't be able. So it's a matter to plan a way of giving back the money starting from September. So sincerely speaking, at the moment, all of our clients, there is no one that has not been affected. All of our clients are affected. And the other question, the big question they are asking us in these days is about employees. That means there is the possibility to leave the people at home and being paid for 9 weeks, being paid by the social security system. That this has to be clearly defined yet. It's not at the moment is not clearly defined yet. But we are waiting for new instruction. This is an important, and this is also for small companies. Just if you have one employee. So this is a news, because even if you have one employee, you can get to leave it at home. So the impact will be very, very, very strong on our economy, local economy. And there is no sector, because in our region there is a lot of exporters, and we have a project in Czech Republic. We are working on a joint venture with our colleague in Prague. But everything is stopped because we cannot go there, they cannot come here. We have prepared everything. It's a matter to incorporate a new co, but it's nothing. So orders are stopped. Just to give you an example of the impact on our economy here in Italy, in my area. Thanks.
I can't hear you.
Sorry. Is it something similar for you, Lutz? But just like in Francesco, so the chain of the business stopped, and it affects to everybody, from small to big companies as well.
Yes, I agree to Francesco. It depends, I think, on the economic sector. For example, tourism is completely shut down. So this kind of companies, hotels, restaurants, didn't have any revenue, and they try as soon as possible to reduce fixed costs. That means personnel costs, or even other kind of fixed costs. That will be a problem. Even financing, I think. Then there are other economic sectors, for example, agriculture. that actually in our area works. It means the agricultural production is still works. There is a problem in our area. We have a big wine production. A lot of companies here work in export. And these companies they have big problems for logistic reasons. And another big problem is that important fairs, for example, in Italy, or a big fair in Düsseldorf, Pro Wine, has been cancelled. So the opportunity to make new business actually doesn't exist for this kind of company. Then we have other companies, these are industry, for example, tissue industry, who works very well. So because they have they have clients in the big distribution, and they work without bigger problems. So the scenery is quite different depending on the economic sector where the company is working.
Yeah, it's a quite big change, and I think it is maybe something similar to everybody. And of course, there are some immediately affected industries, but none of the industries can get out of this chain. Giovanni, Dario.
Yes. For us, more or less is the same of what Francesco and Lutz said. Our particularity is that here the most of our clients are doing the financial services. That we have not companies that provide goods or something, but especially services or financial services in general. And but anyway, the situation is more or less the same. We also have one of our biggest clients that operate in the logistic sector. That is their job at the moment is increasing, but it's just a niche. The general situation is the same. And what I want to say is the feeling that I have is that now the problem mostly is a medical problem in our country. But I'm sure that in a few weeks we will have economic problems and then financial problems. This is what will happen in a short future, in my opinion, because we just noticed that, for example, some clients declare that they are not able to pay the services in the next weeks. So this is what I think, that in the short future we will have a big problem in terms of payments, cash. Yes. Now the problem is only medical, but sooner or later the medical problem will be solved. But we have to face economic and financial problems in the future, next month.
Yeah, I think it is just started with this health question and the health issue, and then it's going to be economic issue. And maybe I really hope that the health issue can be solved within a few months, but the economic impact is going to be for years, as you mentioned. Here's also together with us Marco Petrucci under the name of Giovanni Triunfo. Marco is also from Milan. Maybe you can continue. Try to unmute you, but yeah.
Thank you. First of all, hello to everybody, because I didn't have the occasion to say hello to you. You have already described very well the situation. I can just add that at the end, everybody is part of the chain of the value of the economic system. And this is because, for example, in our office of Ancona, we have the same client that Francesco has. In Milan, we have very different clients because we assist overall subsidiaries of multinational companies like UVEX that I can see behind you.
Yeah.
And they are the second line respect to the first line that is composed for sure by all the restaurants, hotels, and so on. But already in these days, we are receiving calls from our clients that says that they are also themselves receiving calls from their clients saying we would like to postpone the payments. Because in this moment, the people, companies still have money, probably, but they already planned that in the next 2 months, they will have problems of money. So the postponing of the payments is already started.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's going to stop everybody sooner or later. But at the end, you know, and then maybe it was Lutz who mentioned, you know, the company is trying to cut their fixed cost, and the largest fixed cost is usually, you know, the employment cost. And if there is no sell, pardon?
Why do you have UVEX behind you?
Actually, because we are skiing as well, but UVEX is our client in Hungary as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. He's a client of mine since 22 years.
Very good. So maybe we can share our thoughts with them. Dario, what do you think? Can you hear us, Dario? No?
Yes.
Okay.
I completely agree, of course, with all of you. I just want to add that also the day-by-day activities become quite complicated, because it is true that we are very well organized to make smart working, but there are many activities that in any case become problematic. For example, it is very difficult to call shareholder meetings. It is very difficult to manage the issue of the general meetings of the companies, because people cannot meet, and so you have to use different options, but not everything is easy and immediately available. If you have to do something with the public authorities, for example, if you need to go to the local tax authority office, for example, it becomes difficult, because all the public offices in Milan area are basically closed, and so even if you need to go to the post office, for example, post offices are open, but there is a queue that is 200 meters long from the entrance. So it is, I think that if the emergency will last for more than a few weeks, many ordinary activities will become very difficult.
Okay. Anything to add, Pier Paolo, to this question?
Yeah. First of all, nice to meet Marco Petrucci. It's the first time that I met him. Secondly, in my mind, when there is some problem, I think how I have to do in the future, how I have to concentrate to develop my future and my business, because it is essential for my mind. And so now I'm thinking that we have to organize to offer financial service to our client, because I know that in the immediate future will be this problem. And so we have to organize everything that is possible to present to the bank, to other financial authority, the situation of our clients, and then to help them to have this type of essential life to survive. So I think that we need to focus in this type of organization and information for our client, but also as group, because I think that the group is essential to create something that is useful for us and for our clients.
Thank you, Paolo. Lutz, maybe? Or Marco?
Yes, what we are doing now is helping our clients to reduce fixed costs, especially employment costs. There are different ways, and that is the first support we try to do. And the second one is to support them to get financing resources for at least the next months. Hopeful that the situation or the worst part of the situation will end in the next, let me say, 3 to 6 months.
So you are saying it's going to take 3 to 6 months? That's a lot. Enrico, maybe?
I agree with Lutz. I think that the actual situation gives an immediate impact on those kind of businesses who are related to the public, let's say, to the individuals, so restaurant, tourism, etc. But in the probably near future, all the other sector of the activities will be impacted as well. We have received a couple of days ago a call, and Marco was referring to that call, from one of the biggest chemical company in the world, saying that they have already received a call from their clients saying that they are not going to pay. So even in a sector that is really far away from the individuals, from the public, there are already some signals that something is going to slow down at least, or to stop. So I agree with Lutz that probably our economic and financial issues will last for a longer period, for sure a period that is longer to what is provided in this moment by the law that has been published a couple of days ago, that says that provides some relief for a couple of months in order to not pay taxes for a couple of months, and provide some other kind of relief related to banks and financial institution, but only until the end of September. I think that is not enough, because if the whole economic activities will slow down or stop for a 3-6 months period, we will need more support by our government in order to reduce at the maximum the impact on our companies.
Okay, Marco, you just would like to add something?
Yeah, because it's clear that we have to know the macroeconomic situation, but at the end, in order to think something that we can do in our smaller situations. And I would like really to join the suggestion of Pierpaolo that we should also think to something as group, and probably especially country by country, because our firms are not so large, and during these days, most of the largest firms are bombarding all the clients with newsletter, solutions, suggestion, free hotlines, and this means that other professional companies can enter in our clients during this period because we are not able to react with the same quickness, unless we can try to be a group and to share the different specialization that we have among our offices, because our is a practice in which there are a lot of sub-specialization. In our office, for example, we do also legal advice, and during this period, we are writing a lot about security, about labor law, about new problems of privacy, and so on. And I think that we can share this kind of activities in order to receive other kind of activities, for example, the suggestion to prepare financial plan and something like that, that is not the typical activity of our firm. So I would suggest to reorganize at least another call among the Italian colleagues in order to verify if we have the possibility to share something during this period.
Okay, what do you think? Because we have just started to answer somehow these questions, because it was mentioned that the government has to do something, but what would be your suggestion, for example, to Italy? So what kind of economical rules you just implemented for this period, and what do you think about that? And what do you think, what would help, really help the economy? Because you are dealing very closely with the clients, so you have the best, you could have the best ideas maybe, and not the ones who sitting in a parliament, because you are dealing with the clients, as you mentioned, you are dealing with someone who must quit some of the stuff, which is a very hard decision. And how we can, what would be your recommendation, and what the Italian government done already? I don't know who want to.
At the end, is not so difficult, because it's clear that this situation cannot go on for a lot of times. Otherwise, we simply switch off the engine of the economy. The engine of our economy is already slowing down and down. We cannot go on in this way for a long period. But speaking about a long period, I mean weeks, not months.
Okay.
Yeah. And this will cause an additional public debt. And the sole potential solution that we can see is if at the end, the Central Bank of Euro can make the decision to delay the public debts that have bought during the last 3 years, because about 1/3 of the public debts of the area of Euro are owned by the central bank at this moment. Otherwise, really, I don't see a real solution. At the end, the kind of protection of the healthness that we are doing in this period, that is also a social problem, because you can think that is a protection of the oldest part of the population that will be paid by the young.
Yeah. Oh, Francesco?
Just to give my idea, because the Italian government launched the first action plan, but sincerely speaking, it's something that is for several aspects, it sounds a little bit ridiculous. Just to give you an example, for all the companies having a turnover over than 2 million, there is just a postponing the date of the VAT from the 16th of March to the 20th of March. That means 5 days. It's better not to say anything. It's better not to say anything. And then there are some sectors that are more affected, bar, restaurant, tourism, transport, and whatever. And those in the province near Milan, that are the first that were in the red area, they can postpone till the end of May. sincerely speaking, all the measures has to be implemented in terms of financing. As Marco was saying, the best solution is to put money in. And it's not a matter of one country, it's a matter of Europe. This is the time to see if Europe is really existing, not just figures, not just ratio. It's just a matter of people working together against an enemy, all together, because it has no sense that in Italy we postpone till the end of September, in Hungary till the end of the year. I heard our colleague in Czech Republic, it's a matter at the end of October. And every one of us is doing it in a different way. It has no sense. It's a matter to have a European policy on how to affect this problem. Impact, the impact will be not a single. The lucky thing in this period for Italy is that we are not alone. Because if we were alone facing the problem, we were for sure collapsing. But we are not alone. All Europe and all the world is facing the problem. But all as Europe, we need to have a solution. And the best solution is what Marco said: getting the money in from the European Bank, in order, because at the moment, the matter is not people do not want to produce, do not want to buy, do not want. It's a matter that it's not possible to. And if we are not going to pay at the end of the month, it's not a matter because we have not more money, because people are thinking how to go over for other 1 month, for other 2 months, in order to put the money in order to have the money, in order to face the fixed cost of the future, waiting for restarting. So for this period, we need to have the money, and the money has to come from the European Bank. That's it, from my point of view.
Thank you. Giovanni, is something you'd like to add? I mean, of course, your thoughts are very useful, but I was just thinking that you know, someone must put money, but there is no, you know, money is theoretical. So there is no money at all if we say so. There is just a belief that there is money in everybody, because the electronic bank account is just our belief there is money behind this bank. So if someone or the euro must put money in, there is no money which is not produced by the people of us, the small entrepreneurs or the people. So at the end, any money is put into the economy should be paid by someone, and it's going to be the people. So
on time.
So sooner or later, we are going to pay this.
Yeah, of course.
Giovanni, just.
Yes, I have no any other idea to put on the table, because Francesco, Marco, and the others have already said everything. So yes, I think we have to face a big problem in the future. Generally speaking, I don't know exactly what how you say the poison to solve the problem. I'm not able to say, but
yeah, but what would help to the entrepreneurs of yours? I mean, what would help your clients? Is it, for example, you should know that in Hungary there was just a quick economical saving plan. Let's say that, for example, all the loan payments are suspended until the end of December. So even for companies and for private persons, they don't need to pay their loans until the end of December. And the government hopes that it's going to save some money or save some jobs.
Yes, but as Francesco said, it's not enough. It's not enough. The problem will be bigger than this, I think. It's my feeling is this. So we have to face a big problem in the future. And honest. honestly, I have not received for solve the problem. We have our government that are working on that, and I am confident on there. So yeah.
Do you think, I
That's
mean,
it.
do you think, I mean, this is a question for all of you, that any nation can solve this kind of issue, even the virus or the economical impact alone? And if they are not cooperating together, can we save this this economical or virus issue? Because I think it's the virus itself already shows us, I mean, the health issue, that if the governments or the different nations are not cooperating, they are not communicating and trying to solve something alone, it is impossible to do. Does it also would it be also a good sign to save the economy? I mean, I just have some silly ideas. For example, the whole economy or the should be stopped to everybody for, let's say, for a month, which means that 1 month is out of business for everybody. And it just like, you know, if nothing happens for 1 month and life goes afterwards. And of course the surviving the people, I mean, to get food and things like that is important, but by suspending the loans, the rental fees, and for everything which is not necessary for living, is something that could save. So let's say we are sleeping 1 month. So I mean, it's just like, you know, in the taxation, the tax authorities just started to realize that it is impossible to save those companies who work really internationally, or get those companies if they are not cooperating. And just to something similar to this question, if they are not cooperating, it is impossible to survive to anybody. Yeah, Paolo, just want to say something?
Thank you. So I have to leave, but I want to share with you one point. In Italy, in this moment, there is a bad feeling coming against Europe. It's really very hard, because it's the same that we are a friend, you have a problem, and that friend don't help you in this moment. And so every people are that I know are in this sentiment. So I hope, but really hope that Europe do what they need in this moment, because we have a group of nations, no every individuals. And so if we work together and we help each other, is essential. We know that there is some healthy presidium in Germany, and they don't send in Italy, but it is really incredible, this type of situation. So I hope that in this moment the European authorities and the go ahead to help together and to help Italy, but other countries, to create a group. I hope. I'm not sure that will be, but in this moment is an essential moment.
Yeah, I think you are right. I mean, we have two ways. I mean, one is that the nations are getting or the nations are separating themselves, and they close all the borders and everything. But from economical point of view, it is let's say impossible, because everybody has export and trading and things like that. So without the trading, it is not possible to continue the business or even the economy. And on the other hand, I think the other way is just the cooperation, and the European and the worldwide cooperation of the different nations should be or would be essential. So some regulators by nation is not enough now. So as you mentioned, Piero, there is a need that some of the resources should be reallocated from those countries which has for example, to the others which are in need. So my thoughts, I don't know, I think it was the same in Italy, that people just run into the shops and bought everything, you know, in the groceries and things like that. And the nations somehow doing something similar, aren't they? I mean, if they just heard the news that the USA want to own this pandemic virus against, you know, thing by alone. So it is not possible anymore just to be so selfish, even for a country, that they want to have all the resources, because if the others, if you guys in Italy are in problem, we are in problem in Hungary. And that's very ridiculous thing, that people, you know, just think it's so selfish that they can survive by alone. If the others are infected, even economically, we cannot survive.
Yeah, the matter is exactly what you said. It would be very effective if we can stop all together for one period, everybody on leave. Because if we take, for example, we in Italy, we have a strange thing, so that is in August. It's a very strange thing that in August in Italy, everything is closed. That is different compared to all the others, to all the other countries. So we normally face problem with the foreigners, because they don't understand why the factories, the companies are closed, that the manufacturers are closed, apart from tourism, of course. So it's a matter to have 1 month leave all together, because the other worst thing is that some are in delay. Spain is behind us, France is behind us. And then at the end, UK will arrive, because even if Boris Johnson is, from my point of view, is a stupid man, is saying that there is not a matter, because we are open to losing people. But at the end, if they don't reach us, all the people are in a problem.
But you know, why the nations have different, you know, like you mentioned. Yeah, Giovanni? Giovanni, you have the word.
Yeah, yes, just I'm so sorry, but I have to I have to leave because I have to attend a client's shareholder meeting now, and I'm very sorry. But I want to thank you, Laszlo, firstly, of course, and all the other friends. And I hope that we can arrange another virtual meeting with the Italians, if you wish. And okay, thank you,
Giovanni.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
See you soon.
So going back to the question, I mean, it's extremely important. I mean, why the different nations do their regulators, the quarantines are on different levels. Why it could happen, you know, that, for example, many people from Italy, when the quarantine happens, just moved back home and spread the virus, you know, immediately. I just heard that, you know, the Hungarian border was closed. We should talk if it is okay or not. But there were many kilometers of row in the Austrian border. People want to go home to Romania, but for those people, they might be infected. So actually, they just bring back the virus, which could, you know, make their own country in a worse situation. So I think there is a big issue with the regulators, that everybody wants to solve this question separately, and it is impossible to do it. And without cooperation, sharing our resources, sharing our discussions, thoughts, and everything, you know, it cannot happen that Italy has different economical decision than Austria, Hungary, or even Germany, because if Italy does not survive, then Germany won't. I'm pretty sure. Okay, guys, I think we cannot add anything more now. If you want to say anything more, please let me know. We cannot really save the world, but as we see that the trouble is similar everywhere in the world, and actually no one knows the answer, so we still don't know what would be the best answer to this pandemic situation.
Well, it's just to an idea, because I think it's very good to exchange experience, impression. Why don't we open this in 1 week to others of other countries of European, at least at European level? Someone from France, Stefan from France, Manuel from Spain, and all the others, in order to have a bigger group in terms of exchanging our experience. I don't know if it is possible through Zoom or whatever. So at the end, it's a matter, I want to say that it's a matter also to pray, because we have to go to overcome this situation. It's bigger than us. At the end, something that is invisible make us all down. And this is something that should make us thinking about our strength, that the human can go to Mars, but at the end, something that is invisible makes everybody stop. So just think about the values in our life, and going through this experience, getting better than before. That's my way of living.
Just the last thought, because we have a question. What do you think? What can individuals do to save the economy, or even what they can have to support in this critical situation? What individuals can do? What do you think?
Thinking how to do better what they do before. I think that at the moment it's a matter to, even if we are doing this is something better than before, because we are exchanging opinion. So each one of us has to be committed to the laws. So if everybody has to stay at home, that's for sure. We have to be committed in doing our job at the best, and thinking on what we can do for the others in the near future. So being prepared. So just as Pier Paolo was saying, working on the financial planning, because we need to help people, help our companies to overcome the financial crisis that they are facing right in 10 days. So these are what we assisting for the employees, getting the best result in reducing the cost. So all these things has to be done better.
Can I take the word, please? Because then I have to leave.
Yeah, sure.
I think one important thing is not to have panic. Actually, people have panic. And if you have panic, if you are afraid of something, you cannot solve the situation in the best way. So we have to calm down a little bit, I think. And what I expect from our government, at least, is, for example, a postponement of all tax payments, social security payments, and so on, to the end of this year, at least. And to face the financial crisis, which more or less will come, I think we have to face it from with a European solution, because actually we have a domino effect. So Italy is for sure the country which is more affected by coronavirus, but I think it's only a question of weeks. And we have other countries, maybe not in that bad situation we are now, but even in a quite worse, in a quite bad situation too. So if we want to solve the problem because the big issue in a couple of months or half a year will be a financial crisis all over Europe. And this kind of crisis can be solved only if we have a strong Europe, if we have a strong, if we find a way to put money into the system where the money is requested. So yeah, that's what I want to say, and I have to say goodbye. Thank you very much, Laszlo.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your last thought. I agree with all of you, and hope not, and ask everybody not to panic. And now only is just the health system can save the economy at this stage, I think. So this is the first step to have and support the health system for us. Thank you for everybody for listening.
Have a nice weekend.
And have a nice weekend.
Nice and safe. Nice and safe.
Care about you. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.